Hello everybody and welcome to another UFC review. This is for UFC 204 Bisping vs Henderson 2 at the Manchester Arena in Manchester, obviously. Before I do start the review, I do want to say rest in peace to Josh Saman. He was a really good fighter. I've always felt like he was kind of an understated guy. I wish I watched more of his fights. I only saw his last two. His one at UFC 200 and then the one before that. I don't fully remember who he fought. I think it might have been Chael Magalesh. I don't remember, but I know he won by rear naked choke, and his opponent spat blood at him very unsportsmanlike after the fight was over, despite Josh offering a handshake. Yeah. Anyway, rest in peace, Josh Saman. It really is kind of a tragedy that he's gone. He was a young fighter, only 28. He had a very promising career ahead of him, and he's just been through some shit, and it's very unfortunate that what's happened to him has happened. But we're going to move on now to the actual event. So we start off with two fighters we'd never seen before. Mark Diakiese, who is from England, so he got the cheers, woo, as did most Brits during the event. All in all, spoiler alert. I mean, it's at a British venue against Lucas Pajewski, and yeah, okay, in my opinion, Pajewski did have round one. His wrestling was a lot better, and he was managing to land more strikes. But in the second round, Diakiese managed to find his range and kept landing with it, and eventually managed to get a TKO against the cage. I love seeing TKOs against the cage because they rarely happen. Like I just enjoy seeing them. He managed to outland Sayevsky with really good punches, really good boxing combinations. I think Diakiese is someone to keep an eye on in the MMA scene, especially in the British MMA scene. I feel like he's going to do really well in the UFC. Uh, yeah, I look forward to seeing more of him fight, and I look forward to seeing if Pajewski has a second chance afterwards. Next up, we have one of my don't know what happened to my accent there. Next up, we have one of my favourite British fighters in Leon Rocky Edwards, even though this is only the second time I've seen him fight, which is a shame because I quite like him, against Albert Einstein Tumanov, and Edwards won by rear naked choke in the third and final round. It was a very close call a lot of times. It was a very good ground game. Tumanov was outdoing Leon in most places when it came to grappling and in the fight, and then round about like very close to the end of the third and final round, Leon did manage to get the back and managed to sink in a really well done rear naked choke. The transition to it was really well done as well because he faked slipping a leg through, then managed to get his arms locked under the chin and won with that, and it was really cool. It was a really nice submission, really great transition, and really good win for Edwards. Next up is the third fight in the card between dangerous Davy Grant, who fought in the Ultimate Fighter Season 18, and this is the first time I've actually seen him fight since he appeared on the season, like 3 years ago, against Damien Stasiak, and Stasiak won by third round armbar. It was a very impressive showing from him, considering that like the first two rounds I would easily give to Davy. He was dominating a lot more places, but he went for too much cage clinch stuff, which is where Stasiak, had better control. I keep saying Stasiak because I keep thinking of Sean Stasiak, even though I'm not the biggest wrestling fan. It's weird. Ignore that I'm saying it. And yeah, Davy Grant, like he was caught in an armbar late in the third round. He did try and roll out and get out of it. Unfortunately, he was caught back in it and was forced to tap, which is a shame because I quite like seeing Davy fight. I remember just watching him in the Ultimate Fighter. He's a very impressive fighter. And as you all know, I'm a big fan of British fighters in the UFC. We need more. That's just my opinion. But it was a really good job from Stasiak nonetheless. So, can't complain. And finally, we get to the prelim card main event between Brad One Punch Pickett and Yuri Alcantara. And Alcantara won very early, like 2 minutes into the first round, by triangle choke, which he at first mounted, then Brad rolled out of it and it was changed to an armbar, then changed to a triangle choke again. I feel so sorry for Brad Pickett. Like I think it's time for him to retire pretty soon. He's getting older. He's only 1 year older than Bisping. I know this, but still, there is a time and a place, and I feel like he's got a couple more good fights in him before he stops. Now, it's not that I don't like Pickett because I do. He's a very exciting fighter, and when he's got his mind in the right place, he can put together some really good wins and really good finishes. But he just hasn't been doing it. He hasn't been doing that all that much lately. So it kind of sucks And Alcantara won really well. He managed to pick it down with some good strikes. Down for the submission. Really, really good. And he got performance of the night for it. So that's nothing to complain about. But yeah, it was a really good way to cap up the prelim card. A lot of finishes on the card, all in all, like on every fight in the entire event. So yeah, it was it was really cool. Let me take a drink of my cuppa. There we go. Touch the tongue, deep in the lips. Okay. We move on to the first fight of the main card between Mirsad Bektik and Russell Darwin. And Bektik won by DAS choke, which excites me because I like a DAS choke. It's a really good submission. My favorite is the rear naked choke, but DAS choke is very, very close second. It just looks cool. And yeah, it was really, really well done. Bektik managed to land with his really good boxing. Bektik is well known for his boxing. He landed down on the feet, and then he managed to he managed to take him down and sort of transition that into a DOS choke along the way, I think. I don't remember much about that particular part, but he got a DOS choke at some point, sunk it in really well, and won. Yeah, you can't complain about that. Okay, I read that wrong. He got it in a rear naked choke. Who got the DOS choke was Stefan Struve in his fight against Daniel Emelianchuk. I completely botched that Bektik fight. He got a rear naked choke victory, which is why I couldn't remember it being a DOS choke, because it wasn't a sudden DOS choke, it was a rear naked choke. Good job, brain. Good job. So yeah, Bektik won really, really well there. It landed in, managed to get back, sinking a rear naked choke. Stefan Struve against Emelianchuk was... I don't remember a whole lot about this one, to be honest. I mean, obviously Struve won. It was a really good win. As I mentioned, I like a DOS choke. I just don't remember a whole lot of the fight. I don't know, the first round was fairly even, I guess. Second round, obviously, was when I don't remember too much of it. We're just going to move on, but well done to Struve nonetheless. Next up is Jimmy, the post boy Manoa, who I love a lot. He's awesome, against Ogun St. Preux. Manoa won by second round knockout, and it was a really, really good performance from him. He got performance of the night for it, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did. I had to quickly check that. Yeah, he got a really, really good knockout. The first round was fairly back and forth. He managed to do a really good job avoiding most of OSP's takedowns, and then when he managed to get OSP against the cage in the second round, just landed punch after punch. He swung like it all came to a head where he landed a really good right hand, which stumbled OSP hard. Then a left, which knocked him straight the hell out. Jimmy did follow it with a couple more punches, but it didn't look like they landed to the head. I think he might have thrown a couple of forearms to the body, and that was it before the ref stepped in. A really good performance from Manoa. I like seeing him fight a lot. Yeah, he well deserves the Performance of the Night award. Really good job from him. Next up was Gegard Mousasi against Vitor Belfort, and Mousasi won by second round TKO. Once again, not a fight I remember a whole lot about. I just remember that Mousasi landed, I believe he managed to land a really good head kick, and that stunned Belfort, and then he managed to follow that with some really, really good ground and pound. Belfort did survive, but Mousasi managed to get them out and just kept landing strike after strike until the referee pulled him off. It was a really, really good performance from him, and sorry I don't remember too much of it. My memory sucks. Okay, leave me alone. Anyway, that was the main event, so we're going to get to the main event now. And the main event, Michael Bisping versus Dan Henderson, the rematch. Bisping won by unanimous decision, which I'm so happy he did. It means he gets to keep the belt for a bit longer. Yay! And oh, he's my favorite fighter of all time. He legitimately is. I love Bisping so much. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of weird that Bisping having rematches has kind of like won him, you know, but he's won in those rematches. Like he fought Luke Rockhold on short notice and won by first round knockout after losing to Rockhold in 2014 by second round submission. Bisping's first submission loss, and his rematch against Henderson, which was like nearly 7.5 years ago, which Bisping lost by knockout in the second round, and he won by unanimous decision here. But it was a hell of a fight. It won for the night for good reason. It was damn good. It was a damn good fight. Dan Henderson honestly gave it as well. I think this might be the best performance he's ever had, ever. It is a shame he didn't win because there was a couple of times where he came close, most specifically near the end of the first and second rounds. He landed really good right hands that knocked Bisping down, not out, down, and he almost like won several times after that, especially the first knockdown. He landed so many hard punches. I was afraid the ref was going to pull him off and stop the fight. Thank God that did not happen. But oh my God, it was amazing. And I mean, Bisping had to go to hospital afterwards. I mean, he had a huge swelling under his left eye. It was a massive cut. His entire face was busted up. Henderson's face was the better looking of the two after the fight was over. But it was a hell of a war. Bisping managed to come back really, really big in the rounds. Like he just came back really well. It was like watching him fight Anderson Silva all over again. It was a really good performance from Bisping. And sadly, Dan Henderson said, in the post-fight interview when I believe it was Brian Stan, because it was Brian Stan and Mike Goldberg doing the commentary. Brian Stan came in and asked Henderson if this would be his last fight, and Henderson said yes. Mad respect between the both of them as well. It was honestly a really, really good fight. It's going to be sad to see Hendo go. I mean, he's been going at it for a long, long time, and he went out on such a high note, in my opinion. I wish him all the best, I really do. Even though he's probably never ever going to watch this, neither is Bisping or anyone else on the planet. But he gave it his all. He didn't win, but Dan's a legend already. I mean, he's been in the sport long enough. Excuse me. Though I had to sneeze. Sorry. Yeah, he did a really, really good job. Did not win. Didn't have to. Amazing, amazing fight. Really was. Great performance from Bisping. So glad he's keeping the belt. I look forward to seeing his next fight because he called out like 4 fights in the space of a few seconds. He called out Rockhold again, I believe. He called out Weidman. Called out Jacare. He called out Yoel Romero. Yeah. Bisping doesn't give a shit, as we have well established. So really, really good card. A lot of finishes, really exciting main event. Everything I hoped it would be and more. I'll see you all on Friday, I believe. No, probably Thursday or Wednesday, because I've got my episode of Airborne backtracking to come. But I won't see you for the UFC this weekend, which was supposed to be between BJ Penn and Ricardo Lamas, because it's been cancelled. So, yay, I get a bit of a break from that. Woohoo! So you don't have to tolerate my face for as long. And anyway, yeah, really good event all in all. Let's call it. Bye. And also, he's been on my lap this entire time, haven't you? Yeah.